Welcome back to Money Pit Adventures, and thanks for checking out my second video. It's been about 4 months since I filmed my first video removing the gas tank. Today I finally have some time off, finally got some parts in that I've been waiting for, so I'm going to start working on some more maintenance stuff before I throw that STI gas tank back in. So today I've got something that's pretty cool in my mind. It's actually factory OEM hardlines for the non-ABS in the old GC8 chassis. This for obviously for my 95. Came factory non-ABS because it was a 1.8 liter front wheel drive car. So these were actually the last two in all of North America. I managed to pick these up from a local Subaru dealership who had them ordered in for me, and one of them ended up coming all the way from Canada. So today I'm going to be installing these to replace the hardlines that are currently in the car. They're a little rusty, given the fact that the car was originally a New York car and now is living in PA. Thankfully though, the car has been in my garage, so that stopped some rust from expanding, but unfortunately it's also been on jack stands for way too long. So today I'm happy to finally start working on this project again. The other thing I'm doing today is actually replacing the factory filler neck, brand new from Subaru. There's your part number. So this will be going in, help clean that up, get ready for the new gas tank. Everything is going in new. New parts, new hardware, new everything. So the gas tank will be going back in, hopefully in a few weeks, as long as I have the time. That way I can start rebuilding the rear end. Waiting on one more part for the rear end. I'm actually getting a Cusco rear subframe brace to go in there. So that's got to go in before the rear sway bar or anything like that. So this will all be ready to go. Everything's actually out of the way. I'll show you up close underneath the car so you can see kind of what's going on with the rust situation there. For what it is, a new New York car, PA car, it's pretty fairly rust free. You're gonna get some rust, that's just gonna happen. But it's pretty clean for our area. Luckily, it looks like it wasn't driven in too many winters, so I won't have too much work to do, but I'm still chasing the threads on pretty much every bolt that goes back in the car. That way everything's ready to go, everything's brand new, and we're good to go. So today I'm going to work on these, get the hard lines, get the filler neck in, so that way I can be prepped to get the new STI tank in there. So I will post a link to the aforementioned Facebook group thread where the guy shows you how to actually route the hoses and rewire the GC to GD tank. I'm actually going a slight different route. I'm going to be doing a radium hanger, and I can run my own custom -6 AN fuel lines up to the front, because I'm ending up going to do a parallel fuel system with an aeromotive fuel pressure regulator. So I'm going to do this once, do it right, and get it done. So that's what I got today. Hope you enjoy. All right, so here's a good look underneath the car. Like I said, everything's going in new. This was a New York car. Looks like it wasn't driven in too many winters though. As you can see, it's actually in pretty good shape for a Northeast car. You know, a little bit of rust, a little bit of dirt here and there, but nothing too bad. Like I said, obviously all these threads I'm going to chase before putting in the new hardware. And then here you can see that factory hardline. Still not terrible. Could be a lot worse for a Northeast car. But we're getting that all replaced today. All this is going to be done. That way we can prep to get the gas tank in. And once that STI fuel tank's in, I'm actually going to be working on reinstalling all the new rear subframe, the new Cusco brace, everything. So the subframe I have is actually the steel bushings, if you want to even call them bushings. But it's got those solid bushings, which will be really nice. Sending that off to a powder coater so that can get completely powder coated, ready to go. So it's all brand new. Everything. It's going to be pretty nice on this car once it's done. Obviously, I'm kind of doing this on a budget. This isn't crazy, you know, wide body, anything like that, but working on getting some deals where I can. I actually just picked up this new toolbox from Harbor Freight on their parking lot sale. So I actually upgraded from a small little Craftsman. I'll add in a picture here to show you the change between the old toolbox I had and this one. So we'll get ready, get working, and bring you along. All right, so first thing we're gonna do, there's 3 Phillips head screws in here. So I actually have this great Japanese screwdriver from Sunflag, made in Japan. These are typically made for the interior screws, but they do also work on standard Phillips. So the first thing we're gonna do is get this filler neck out. We're gonna remove those 3. Not too bad for a Northeast car. So those are all, we got all new screws for this. Some weight in that. Great thing about this screwdriver, I don't know if you noticed that real quick, but it's also magnetic, which is really nice. And last one, this one's actually in there pretty. This one came out pretty loose, which is nice. Great thing about these is they have this rounded end. You can actually just hold your palm on. Makes it easier to twist this if need be. So that way you can keep your pressure on it. Take those bolts out. Oh, screws. All right, now we got those screws out. We just got to pry back this ring, filler neck ring, and then get it cleaned out. Like I said, it's actually, I know I keep saying this, but I'm surprised as I work on this car to find how fairly clean it is. Not only for the years, but for being a Northeast car. But we got a whole new seal for all this, new filler neck, new everything. So that'll be going in here as we move along. So next thing we're gonna do here is remove this one 10 mil bolt. Can't really show it very well on the camera because unfortunately it's kind of right in the middle getting blocked. And this is what actually bolts the entire filler neck to the actual body. That's good. One little tiny bolt, and that breaks all that free. So now we should be able to just pull on this. We need to pry back this plastic cover bit. Twist to get free. And that's part of it. Just gotta move this little section where it hangs through. So let me crawl underneath of here. There's still a hose on the other end, which I think is what's catching that up. Maybe we just gotta flex it. Oh, let me crawl underneath and see what we got going on there. So real quick pro tip, don't be a silly goose like me. This was still in the back of the pipe that goes through the frame. It was part of the hose that I didn't completely cut off. This pipe will not come through that hole in the frame unless you completely remove this hose. So cut it off, save yourself about 15 minutes of headache like I had. All right, so as you can see, I already removed one of the hard lines prior to even filming. That actually runs to the driver side here. So now I'm gonna remove this upper one, and then I'm also gonna remove the 2 hard lines that come in from the body. because I actually have a new brass fitting and a new bracket here as well, just so I can get all that brand new, everything fresh. So here we go. Probably don't really need to be removing this line since I'm going to be taking this bracket off anyway, but just gives me a little bit of extra space to work with so I can get my socket in there later to get this bracket off, because that's going to be the biggest pain, the biggest worry, because that bolt looks fairly rusted. So I'm really worried about that snapping off. Obviously, make sure you use an actual flare nut wrench for this, so that way you're not rounding off this little fitting, because if you round that off, then you're going to have a bad time. Should probably throw a rag underneath there to catch the brake fluid. Let me do that. So let's see if I can do. There. We'll see. Just pull them. Just kind of bringing that out of those little plastic clips. One last one, and now the rear brake line, hard line is out. So move back here, and we'll disconnect from here. So I'll finish unscrewing these, and we'll move on to the bracket. All right, so in order to get to this back bolt, you gotta pull both brake lines and separate them from the actual brass fitting. That gives you the space to get a deep well with an extension. It's a 12 mil back there. So that allows you that space to get through here. So now again, just kind of go slow. Watch. Like I said, mine's pretty rusty, so I'm going to give it a couple sprays of PB Blaster just as I go. And hope this thing doesn't snap off. Because then I'm going to drill it out, re-thread it. I really don't feel like doing that. Let this soak for a few more minutes, and then I'll get back to it. But I just want to kind of show you, you just separate these two, pull them, and that'll allow you to get through there in the center with a deep well. All right, so the old bracket is off. Now it's time for me to get the new one on here. Obviously, just goes in the same way it came out. Now, I don't plan for this car to ever see another day of snow, but plans change. So who knows? One day I might. So we're gonna just throw a little bit of anti-seize on these bolts. All the bolts that are going back in are all getting anti-seize, because this is the Northeast, and who knows? Maybe one day I'll decide that I want to go take it out and have some fun in the snow with it. So, but unfortunately, the dealership that I bought all the hardware and stuff like that online from ended up shorting me the large through bolt that actually mounts the brass fitting to this bracket. So unfortunately, I'm not able to finish everything up today, but at least I can get it ready and prepped. So I'm going to install the other hard lines that go in the back, get that ready to go, so that when I'm able to run over to Home Depot and grab that replacement bolt, it'll be good to go and ready to just mount up real quick. So we'll finish tightening this up. You know, typical German level of Guten tight, doesn't really matter. It's on there. Clean up with a brake clean. Because we want happy little bolts and happy little hardware. And clean hardware is happy hardware. So now I'll just start throwing in these new rear hard lines. Now, I had actually written down, so you want to make sure that if you do it the way I do and you're actually removing both rear hard lines at the same time, you write down which goes to which. So I already know this, how these go on the fitting, and then you got to make sure that you connect them to the right port so that they're actually actuating the brakes that they're designed to do, which eventually will be a fun time. So we'll get that up and get that going. All right, so now all we got to do is get these rear hard lines back in. So this is pretty simple, straightforward. This one actually kind of popped out, so I gotta put that back in. Hope that stays. So just a little clamshell. Take that. Take a light, plastic hammer, nothing heavy. Give it a little tap. A little tap, tap, taparoo. And it's back in. Now the ones here on the side, they're actually much easier to get in. So you just tap, just press them in. I don't know if that'll show on camera, but that's the driver side. Back in, all brand new. Super happy about this. Looks beautiful up there. Let me go grab the passenger side. All right, so now we just have the driver side, or passenger side. Again, just kind of line it up. It has its own clips, so everything goes back in. Grab your light bludgeoning tool. Smack that back in. That goes back in. And that goes back in. Now, we have brand new hard rear brake lines. Now everything's back in. Obviously just waiting on that fitting. But now we have brand new factory non-ABS hard brake lines. Once I get that new bolt, we'll be able to replace that. And this will be completely buttoned up. So all we got to do is finish this and get that filler neck in. And then we'll actually be able to throw in the gas tank. Well, thank you for stopping by and watching this video. It's been something I've been thinking about doing for a little while now, but happy to actually be working on the car again, actually filming some stuff, hoping that maybe some of the stuff I go through and figure out as I'm going helps somebody else out there. So please make sure to like and subscribe.